so this video is going to be about the flock surveillance cameras they're putting everywhere and the giant AI data centers they're building, and my personal thoughts on the fact that the AI data centers are all going to be processing all the flock surveillance shit to make it AI rants. Or, you know, the state or CIA or the president or anyone that doesn't like you for any reason. Okay, usually I post like gaming videos and shit, but I'm gonna get political. That's right, guys, political. Politics, run and hide. Anyway, flock surveillance. I go outside for a fucking walk and there's cameras everywhere. Wow, I love cameras. You'd think I was in the surveillance state. Oh wait, we are in a state of surveillance. And that state happens to be the state that I live in, or you too, because of these fucking flock cameras. Because this is some USSR bullshit, but apparently, according to the government, it's only authoritarianism when the commies do it, or when China does it, or when anyone else but them does it. And then if they do it, it's justified for safety. It's like Ben Franklin said, if you give up safety for... if you give up freedom for safety, you get neither. And you don't deserve either, because you're a fucking coward chud. Silly normal person. The Fourth and First Amendment are only for the people in the Epstein files. How dare you abhor desired human rights of privacy and not being surveilled every fucking place you go. So these flock cameras, they work for ICE and the feds or whatever, even though they say they don't, they do, because they share all their data with ICE and shit, and we all know what people think about that. But either way, even if they didn't and it was just for the police, that's still itself a problem. Because police can be corrupt, police can do all kinds of nasty shit, especially if qualified immunity. They're essentially the state's enforcers, not protect you. Which is kind of fucked up, because as a kid I thought, oh, they're there to stop criminals. But no, if you remember back in like 2022, apparently they just like to stand outside school classrooms and watch the school shooter do shit. They don't do anything but arrest you for no fucking reason, or the reason is some rich zillionaire didn't like what you said on the internet. And this mass surveillance shit is why they're building that everywhere, to instantly arrest everyone for everything. Or, and I'm gonna get to this, there's even worse shit they're doing. So you want to know why they're building 10 zillion fucking data centers to release heat comparable to several nukes a day? Not all at once, because nukes release thermal energy instantaneously. I'm saying spread out over the whole day. So the one they're trying to build in Utah would consume 9 billion watts a day. That is twice as... I think, not even twice, several times more energy than the entire state of Utah uses per day. And Utah's already hot because it's a fucking desert that people live in for some reason. So the heat there is already dangerous. So if you have a 9 gigawatt space heater of a server rack, because you know computers emit all the energy as heat eventually because thermodynamics, that heat's gonna raise temperatures up to like nearly lethal. Like if it's 100 outside, it can raise it to say 120, and that's when your proteins start denturing or unwrapping inside of you, and you start fucking cooking like an egg or some shit. So something interesting with eggs is you can actually see the protein's denture. That's why it turns from clear to white. If you go out in 120, 125 degree heat, that's you. That could be your brain. Your brain especially, because the rest of your body can recover more, but the brain will fucking die. So this data center would heat the entire state like 9 degrees. On days without wind, the heat builds up in like a valley or some shit. And that's when it starts going Jeffrey Dahmer style and you get cooked alive. Even if you don't get like cooked alive quickly or something, which is already horrifying right now, and you die of heat stroke or something, the cumulative tissue damage can still shorten your lifespan and make you sick a lot. So, I'm probably gonna get flagged for saying all this bullshit too, which is stupid, but God forbid you use free speech to say you don't approve of something that people are doing because you don't think it's right. I think they're authorized to go after people critical of ICE or something, which is why I can't exactly say anything critical of them, but you and me both know that they do some things that aren't great. Because apparently, if you don't agree with the government, that's extremist violence. And definitely, and how dare you want significant reform in literally every part of the government. Stupid American, don't you understand that we're billionaire oligarchs and can do whatever we want and that your countries are playground? American freedom? No, silly. That's only for people with more money than God. Such as Peter Thiel, who is behind all this block bullshit. He's a creepy fucking dude that wants to restart essentially feudalism in the modern era, and he wants to surveil your every move to cause the death of free will. Because if you're paranoid, you start avoiding doing shit you want to in public, like, sorry, I'm very shy. Essentially, they record your voice in public near them cameras too. And microphones are like stupidly good these days. I'm saying this shit like a solid 2 meters from a cheap microphone. You're picking me up just fine. So, these flock cameras essentially take pictures of everything they pass by and record everything they hear, building up a data set on you, and that data set's exported to of every location you go to in real life constantly. So they take pictures of you and record your voice. It's like essentially live streaming your entire life 24/7 so they can watch you. This shit makes the Patriot Act look like a polite question asking, because it does. It's fucked up. And all these courts, which they've filled with their own crony guys, say, oh, it's okay, it's not violating the Fourth Amendment, which is the right to wait, doesn't bear arms and not have your shit kicked in. Right. That's the Fifth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment essentially is supposed to guarantee that you won't have unreasonable, like, searches or seizures, and that you can have a basic amount of privacy. But these guys are arguing, since the cameras are in public, that's not privacy because a guy could see you walking down the street. But that's also pretty ridiculous, because I can put my face up to somebody's window and watch them like a fucking creep. That's essentially what they're doing. They're essentially just stalking people and saying, oh, it's legal because the Constitution doesn't explicitly say putting cameras literally everywhere is wrong. Like, if you, a private civilian, did this shit, you'd get arrested in like 12 seconds. Have you seen IRL streamers like fucking chasing people down, like that weird Chud the Builder guy or the German Simone? They like harass people in real life, and then when these government or rich people do the same, oh, it's suddenly just fine. Why? Because they have all the money. And how dare you criticize people with money? Don't you know they worked for that $600 billion fucking dollars? Don't you know they worked 600 billion times harder than you? Which is clearly possible. Anyway, I'm ranting again, but they want to do some pre-crime stuff too. So they can So they essentially build up a database on you based on every single thing you ever did, and then they can check, oh, did you commit a crime, no matter how small? Like, for example, they could reasonably, like, bust you for, like, jaywalking or littering or some bullshit, and then arrest you for that. But they don't, because it usually takes too much effort. But if you speak out against them online, they could potentially pull that up and say, yeah, Jamie, pull that up. Ah, this guy's fucking went through red light 1 frame after it turned red while he was driving. Now we can arrest his ass and throw him in jail. And it's definitely because he is a danger in traffic, not because he said something I don't like online. So essentially, there's so many crimes that you can potentially commit that are like victimless or low impact, like for example speeding. Like everyone speeds a tiny bit. It's nearly impossible to not. Like given you've got to keep up the traffic or you may go miles over, and they can just increase the punishment for that or something to like a, I don't know, felony or something, and then throw you in jail forever. Or they can say, hey Grok, do you see this guy? Generate him with his wiener out. Now arrest him for public indecency. Let's see him prove that he didn't have his wiener out at this exact point in time. And then you can't because nobody's filming their own every move. And then they can, if they run out of cops arresting all the people they don't like in one place, they can just get cops from somewhere else, because there's a shitload of cops, or pass some bounty bullshit like citizens arrest laws or some shit. Or like they even want to analyze your gait to see if you're walking funny. Ah yes, John Jones here is clearly an autistic homosexual. He's walking 2.8% slower than I believe he should, and I am going to flag him for being a drug dealer because he's existing in a way that I personally find suspicious, which is a bunch of nebulous bullshit, and pre-crime is absurdly unconstitutional because you have to reasonably have done something to get arrested or surveilled. Or that's how it should be, because apparently they don't even need warrants anymore. Because they can just declare anyone they don't like fucking terrorists or some bullshit. And then say, ah, human rights? Never heard of that. Now get ready for a left-right special from a human. And then they beat your ass or assault you or whatever the fuck they do in Guantanamo Bay or that shit in Florida or whatever. So that's why I really hate these fucking cameras and all these people. Like, genuinely, we need to tell everybody, all the fucking normies, all the retards. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. But to be fair, I grew up on like fucking 4chan. You're lucky worse things aren't coming out my mouth right now. But yeah, we gotta call the city, every city, tell them to take that shit down, or you're like voting them out, or literally just call them every single day, because the legal definition of harassment does not apply to calling your city council every single day and saying, hey, take down these spy cameras. This isn't the USSR. This is America. Take these down. I like freedom. And then they can't say, oh, it's a leftoid communist, and clearly not going to listen to this. Or some bullshit. Because it's just fucked. Because if you try to, like, sometimes if you call people, they don't even give a shit anymore. Because they're just sitting on their throne of money and saying shit like, oh, I should take another vacation to Little St. James once I put these filthy Poles under mass surveillance so I can punish them for every single thing I don't like they do. And everything else, hold on, I forgot to bribe Congress for disagreeing with me. I'm going to make not agreeing with me terrorism because I am a snowflake chud. Yes, the wage slaves are complaining about my another 7 billion to Netanyahu bill. Yes, the one that relocates funds from food for orphan children to killing anyone we don't like. Yes, that's the one. Also, make thought crime illegal under the Conspiracy and Sedation Act. Yes, I'll call Clarence Thomas later and buy him another yacht so he declares the 14th Amendment fake and gay. Like, okay, I gotta stop doing this shit because I'm just rambling. But all this does is make it so if they don't like anything you do, they can just make some bullshit up. And then say, hey, Grok, I know you're running from this fucking Maritoshka brain inside Utah. Arrest this goofball. Generate him naked. Arrest him for public indecency. For being a queer. Or some bullshit. Because they will do this shit. They will. You can see the this fucking machine in there is moving. The legal one, not the Grok Bikini Pictures machine. But, like, we gotta do something about this shit. Like, we gotta call everyone and tell them this is completely unacceptable. We're not having it. And since we can't, like, legally take these down because that's destruction of, like, property, don't do that shit. I'm specifically making this video because I don't want people to get arrested for some bullshit. I want everyone to be free and happy and to have all their human rights. But these people are too focused on human wrongs. Like, so they, and really, it's not even about policing, as I keep saying. It's about the fact that people are noticing that bazillionaires pay like 0 to 5% in taxes, and I pay like 18 to 20% and nobody can afford gas because of Operation Epstein's Fury, or random people saying, I don't like the blacks. Destroy the Voting Rights Act. No more rights for them. They've breathed on me wrong. They didn't like Donald Trump's Truth Social post of him AI generating himself as the God Emperor of mankind and also Jesus Christ. And you ratioed Epstein, Musk posting about how much he hates the blacks and certain people. Arrest this fool! Charge them with everything! Charge them with battery! Hook them up to the 9 billion volts electric chair! They're dissidents! Ugh. Because it's all bullshit because they want to bring back some inescapable feudalistic hell. You should have never given these motherfuckers a single inch no matter what they said, because they want to starve everybody because they don't see people as human, they don't see me and you as human. No, because people are catching on, they're inventing pre-crime and also, yes, surveil all their actions at all times to build up a case file on them for random minor shit, so that when they disagree with us, we can simply say, oh, I've got your crimes on video. You jaywalked 11,482 times. We're going to arrest you. But they're only arresting you in reality because you said you didn't like them. Or you wanted fair wages or reasonable things. But people don't believe this and they won't, because, oh, they could never lie to us. They're so rich. Surely they must have worked 600 billion times harder than us to have the fucking GDP of countries. It's also okay that I don't have any human rights or money or food anymore because John Bazillionaire said so. Okay. I'm fucking talking in circles. I don't care. Fuck you. Well, no, but look, man, the point is, I'm ranting while playing video games. Just tell people about this shit, because neither I, nor you, nor anyone else wants this world to be a neo-feudalistic surveillance state hell with fucking... What's that movie? Not Inception. I forget. Whatever. You get the idea. Point being, tell everyone, call these people every single day until we get what we want, which is, fucking basic human rights to not be cyber-stalked by billionaires and cops for some reason. And before some fat loser says, If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. I have a lot to fear, but I have nothing to hide. It's just that people do not have any form of good intentions with anything. And that's what freaks me out, man, because these people have more power than fucking anybody, and they shut out and bother people whenever they get the slightest bit bored. And to that, they don't see anyone as human, and they like things like division or people dying or some shit because it's even numbers on the page or